Now let's try to understand the deferred life annuity contracts, which are probably the same as the life annuity, but the first payment is not immediate. The first payment typically happens after n years. So it is deferred, right? The payment is not beginning immediately, but it is deferred for at least 1 year. It could be more than 1 year, typically for a n-year period, but at least in the immediate year, the payment is not going to occur. So, which means if the person's age is X currently, and let's say the deferment period is n years, which means he would receive the first payment only if he is alive until X plus n years, then X plus n plus 1 years, and so on up to X plus k. Now, if the person dies even before X plus 1, there is no payment that is typically received. And this is the typical representation, which means if I have to represent it as a random variable, I'm talking about the number of payments that he is going to receive is the maximum of either kx minus n such kind of payments or zero payments he is going to receive. If he is dying within n period, there is nothing that is being received. Otherwise, it is kx minus n, and that would be after n periods. But now, if I want to find the present value of that, I'm discounting the same by multiplying it with v power n. So, this would become the random variable associated with a deferred life annuity contract. And if I have to get into the expected value for the same, probably I can start writing it the same. Okay, let me think of the person being alive. When I'm now starting off that right from n plus 1 till infinite, if I'm saying, okay, the person is alive at least for n plus 1 years, means the probability of kx equal to k. And how much is he going to receive if he is alive up to kx plus n years? What we are saying is this is equal to a k minus n, correct? Because he would be receiving a k minus 1, provided he is alive up to n periods. So the present value that whatever we are receiving is that he is alive up to n periods, and only after that he is receiving the first payment. So it's as good as, probably if I look at it, I will simply look at it as AX, which is the whole life annuity, minus AXN, which is the term life annuity. So whatever is the present value, if he is starting for the payment right from now till the end of his death, which is a whole life annuity, minus the present value of the payment that he is receiving if it is for a term of n period. Because here from n plus 1 period till the death, the payments are going to be received. So directly I can denote it in this particular manner, right? So I can so it's as good as talking about NAX for me, like AX provided after n, which is nothing but a deferred annuity payment. I can very well write it as AX minus AX colon n. That's one important relationship that I can very well put. And similar kind of a logic will exist even for a deferred life term annuity. A deferred annuity for a term annuity contract means it's not for a whole life, but again for a specific number of years, which means I can very well denote it as A X colon N, but minimum after M periods only. So this also could be there. This is nothing but it's a slightly improvised version. I mean, it's a slightly deviated version corresponding to the whole life deferred annuity. So all these things typically have to be remembered. The same thing if I am looking at it from an annuity due perspective, I'll look at it as A with a double dot X, which will come out as A double dot X minus A double dot XN. And now if you see this again, okay, now how do I evaluate it? Okay, the probability that the person is alive for age n years, right? And when he is alive for age n, what he is going to receive at that point is same as ax plus n. But this is at n periods down the lane. If I want to find the present value of that, what he is receiving is nothing but v power n time npx to the npx multiplied by ax plus n. So these kind of relationships we really need to be comfortable with when we are solving the numerical. But in some cases, apart from annuity due as well as annuity paid at the end of the period, we could also have the situation of continuous annuities where the payments are made continuously during the period. But of course, though it's not a reality, I can't keep paying every minute of a second. But wherever we are dealing with a very high payment frequency, probably weekly or daily, fortnightly, in those cases, I can very well look at it as equivalent to continuous itself. And in the continuous case, all we are denoting is uh, with a complete lifetime variable rather than a current lifetime variable kx. Here we will be using tx, which talks about a complete lifetime of the party. And wherever we have done the summation earlier, we are doing the integrations now. That's the only difference. Now, if I really want to find out the expected present value of ATX, right, which here we represent it with A bar. That is nothing but, okay, whatever we have done up for kx, the same logic we are going to use. Okay, let's assume that the person is going to be alive anywhere between 0 to infinite period. I'm doing an integration with respect to t. So first of all, he would be receiving at if he is alive for t periods. And the probability that he is alive for t periods is tpx times mu x plus t. The probability that he is dying once he receives x age. So I can very well use this and say that this is expected value of ATX. And the same thing can very well boil down to, okay, he is going to receive v power t altogether. If I am expressing it as a part of v, he is going to receive v power t under the assumption that he is alive up to tpx. So the probability that he is alive is tpx, and the amount that he is receiving is the v power t, the present value based on the discounting factor for a 1. So this is the typical present value, expected present value that I can very well compute. And the variance, if I am looking at a bar tx, it is nothing but 1 by delta squared times. We know that if I'm trying to establish ax, I have defined it as 1 minus v power n by I. But if I have to define ax bar, I can very well define it as 1 minus v power n by delta. So because of this reason, I can very well express this as 1 by delta squared times 2ax minus 2ax bar minus ax bar whole square. So this can directly help me out to find the variance of the process. Similarly, again, in terms of continuous scale, we can talk about a term life as well, a bar x colon n. right, which again gets worked out as integral. Instead of 0 to infinite, I'll make it 0 to n. That's the only stuff. V per t tpx dt. And what we also see is a bar x is same as, means, which is the whole life the continuous annuity is nothing but a term life continuous annuity plus a deferred for n periods the continuous annuity. This relationship is still going to work. And a few more conversions from continuous to in advance, or continuous to arrears kind of mechanisms. We know ax bar is same as ax minus half, because this is going to be much earlier payment, and that's the reason we say ax is same as ax bar minus 1. So the same logic again for ax bar, also ax double dot minus half. Same logic again if I am going on a term kind of a scale. A bar xn is nothing but a bar xn. Here I can't directly take it as half. I'll take it as minus half into 1 minus v per n times npx. So this is an important rule. It's not just minus 1. In case of a term life, this is not minus 1. We are going to have it as minus half time 1 minus v power n npx. You can quickly try it out why it comes out. It doesn't take much of an effort to understand that. But this is what typically goes as some of the important formulas for the computations of annuity under the continuous as well as deferred kind of systems. All right.